Giddy up.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Pit Therapy Podcast with me, Trevor and Kyle. And we have super special guest, Rich Thurston of 25 plus bands. Too long of a list to actually roll through. But the one that we want to talk about with you today, No Grave, is the one that dropped the latest release. Super stoked to talk to you about that. But dude, Rich, my man, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. I was just figuring out Zoom because, I'm an old man now, so I had to figure out Zoom and also trying to watch the FC Cincinnati soccer game against Miami at the same time. So I was trying to do too many things at once, but we're here now.
There you go. There you go. So are you a big soccer guy or just follow just FC
Huge.
Cincy?
No, I'm a huge soccer guy. I'm a huge soccer guy. So
Okay.
yeah,
Like when did you
that
get
and hockey. That and hockey are my two main sports.
when did you get into soccer? Because I mean, like soccer in the US is like what, 2004, 2005 before
Sure,
Major
sure,
League
sure.
really started kicking off.
I was always a casual fan of like the Premier Leagues and stuff and stuff like that. But then Cincinnati got a USL soccer team, which wasn't an MLS team, but it was and they were putting 25,000 people in stadiums,
Nice.
Oh, sick.
which was crazy. Like it didn't make any sense. Like some of these teams would come from like Erie, where they played in front of like four people, and they walk into the stadium like it's a gladiator thing. Like it was bonkers. Like so, MLS took notice, and they made FC Cincinnati a MLS team, and I mean they're doing good, man. Like it's so much fun to go to games and stuff. It's such a good
Yeah.
atmosphere, and I get it. I get that people are like soccer, like I understand, but like it's a lot of fun, man. I love it.
Yeah. We are from Salt Lake City. So we grew up
Okay.
with like the old RSL team with like Kyle Beckerman and
Yeah,
all those guys watching them at the
sure.
University of Utah football stadium. Like I remember when David Beckham was playing and they like filled out the football stadium to
Oh yeah.
watch him play and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are good times, man. You know?
Yeah, like Cincinnati's playing Miami tonight, and Lionel Messi is playing for Miami. So it's here in town, and it's just bonkers down there.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like tickets were like $400 or
Yeah.
something crazy. Like just to watch him play, you know.
So
Um,
Messi was just in Salt Lake like 3, 4 weeks ago. Tickets got up to like
Same.
5 and 6 grand for some of
Oh
them.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. They don't care, man. And you'll see it too when they announce the season. It'll have like, oh, $30, $30, $30, $300, and it's the Miami game. And then the resale is even more crazy. So it's just like, I mean, I get it. It's not every day you get to see the greatest soccer
Sure.
player ever do in person. So I,
Yeah.
I understand.
Yeah.
And then hockey. So you guys have the Blue Jackets in Ohio, right? Is that your
Listen,
team or
I
who
don't
do
know why I
you?
don't know why we got to bring all that up, but
I where you said
yeah,
casual soccer fan back in the day, I am a casual hockey fan because we just got the
okay, all
Mammoth,
right,
so I'm
yeah,
getting
yeah.
into it.
That's
So
really cool, though. That's a really cool like expansion team. I think it's really awesome. Like I think, um, but like, yeah, I'm a Boston Bruins guy.
Mm.
okay,
I was born in Boston, so my four teams are Celtics, Bruins, Red Sox, Patriots. Um,
okay.
It's a
but
lot of heartbreak this year for you, isn't
man, like
it?
it was like nightmare fuel. Like it's bad news all around. But anyway, I mean, I wouldn't necessarily call the Patriots season heartbreaking. We went from when I
Sure.
say I hate that I didn't do a damn thing, but like the team went from 4-13 to 13-4 in one year.
Yeah.
That's pretty all right. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
the
So I wouldn't
fact
necessarily
that
call it.
the fact that Tennessee dropped Vrabel the way that they did
Oh,
was
oh man,
the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, but
He's a
yeah.
are
baller
you
He's a brilliant
coach.
are
coach. If he can just get his social life
that's what I
together,
was
it'd
gonna
be
say.
great.
Are
But
is he sticking around or Pat's gonna stick with him? Do
yeah,
they care? Do you
no,
guys care? Does anyone care?
Listen, there are actual murderers that play in the NFL. And we're
Right.
worried about whether this guy was having sex with a reporter or not.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're worried about. Like
Yeah.
that's the problem.
I
Calm down,
watched
everybody.
I watched all those Ray Lewis years, So
Yeah. There's actual people that have actual manslaughter on their criminal record playing in the NFL right now.
yeah.
Who was Pat's tight end? Hernandez.
Hernandez. Listen, well, you like bringing up old. I don't know why you're bringing up old shit. Like,
Listen, man, we are sports fans here.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk sports, forget
Man.
hardcore. We can do
Yeah.
another podcast
I mean,
later. Let's talk sports.
Hardcore is stupid. Let's talk about
I know. So it is funny because like I'm from Salt Lake, but I moved down to Dallas like, I don't know, 6 years ago. And I've been like so disillusioned by Utah sports. Like, have you heard the joke of like when I die, I want the Utah Jazz to lay me in my grave so they can let me down one last time,
Damn. No,
So, like,
that's a good one.
I've moved on and like have been supporting Dallas sports for a while since I'm down here. And then all the Luka stuff happened. And it's like, you just can't escape it, like you just get stuck with it.
Are you trying to tell me that you're a Dallas Cowboys fan?
Oh, okay. That one I won't admit. So I'm not a Cowboys fan. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, man, you are just a glutton for punishment at that point.
No, I will say Cowboys fans in Dallas are not as bad as Cowboys fans that are outside of Texas. Because all the ones in Dallas understand the shit that we've been drawn with, So
Straight lie.
They're like, we're going to be great. Dak Prescott's going to be MVP numbers, and then we're just going to lose in the first round of the playoffs every year.
Crazy. So
all right, hardcore.
Let's get in music.
Hardcore, man. So I don't even know where to start with this, right? You have been playing music and in the hardcore scene basically since we were born. We were 90 and 91. Your first release was like 90, probably 91, but 93, right? With Culture is probably your big one.
Yeah. That's funny. I was graduating high school when you were born. Yeah, Culture was the first major band. I was in a couple other bands in South Florida, a band called Ego Trip and a band called Timescape Zero. They were just, they were going to be local forever. They were not, it wasn't one of those things that was going to, but it was like my first introduction to playing music. I had no idea what I was doing. I had probably the worst equipment that you could possibly buy. But I just taught myself how to play and picked up stuff from other musicians who were better. I just sort of would watch and learn from them. And then, then came Culture. And it was with Culture, it was really cool because nobody else was doing that in Florida at the time, what we were doing. And it was very much organic. We weren't sitting around going, oh, we need to write a song like this band. We need to write a song like that band. We had to have this kind of breakdown because blah, blah, blah has that. We were just writing songs.
Yeah.
And I think that was that made us sort of stand out from some of the other bands is that there was no real formula to it. We just wrote what we were feeling at the time. And me and Damien, the singer, we were talking about this the other day, how he said he went back and revisited the Born of You 12-inch and was like, man, we really thought we were metal back then, but we were not at all. Compared to what eventually it turned into. Yeah. There was there's legit bands that are considered hardcore bands that are metal bands. Right. They are just metal bands. And we weren't like that at all. But compared to the mouthpieces of the world that were around when we were around, we might as well have been Slayer to them,
So you're your first couple bands that you were in, Ego Trip and I can't remember the other one.
Timescape Zero.
Sonically, were they similar to Culture?
I think Ego Trip was more Timescape Zero was probably closer to Culture, to the Culture stuff, but not close enough to where I would be oh yeah, I brought some of that to this. It was more on the metallic side of it all. Um, it was a lot like ironically, it was a lot like a Cro-Mag's Best Wishes type thing, but not anywhere as good as a Cro-Mag's Best Wishes thing.
Yeah.
But it had that vibe, you know what I'm saying?
Okay.
That was the vibe it was giving off. Um, so I've always been into the like harder side of hardcore music, um, more so than like the like youth crew type of
Sure.
stuff. I enjoyed it. I just didn't enjoy playing it. Like
Fair.
it's not what spoke to me as a musician. Oh, I want to write songs like that. I just didn't. But I love those bands. It just wasn't, you know what I mean? Like it just wasn't
Yeah.
what I was doing.
So, is that a product of being in South Florida in the heyday of the death metal scene, the heavy
For
ass
sure.
music that was coming out then?
For sure. Yeah. There's no doubt that, I could go see Obituary play in a 100 cap room any day of the week down there. Um, Funny fact that when I finished high school, I went up to Orlando to that More Sound Studios where everybody was going, all the death metal bands were going to record for like a walkthrough because I was going to start going to college there. And Obituary was recording.
Mhm.
Um, I want to, it wasn't the end complete. I think it was World Demise. They were
That's
recording that record
wild.
while I was there. And I knew some of those guys. By no means was I friends,
Right.
but I knew them. And it was just like, hey man, like, hey, and just kind of kept walking. But it's just funny that like it was for as big as those bands have gotten, it was a really small knit group of musicians in Florida that sort of all intertwined with each other, but like Obituary wasn't playing hardcore shows and we weren't playing metal shows, but like we would all go to hardcore shows and all go to metal shows. But we
Sure.
weren't playing them together. That mesh hadn't really kind of come into fruition yet for us, at least in Florida. It was still kind of like very separate,
Yeah.
but we were influenced by each other.
That's that's really cool. And this is really interesting to me because like we've talked to a lot of people that came from the hardcore side, the punk side, right?
Mhm.
And kind of pulled in metal stuff into hardcore, right? Like you read about, all these guys like Agnostic Front when they start doing a little metalcore and some stuff, or Earth Crisis starts to, do that. They supposedly, what we hear, I can't remember, I can't remember who it was, but he was like, don't trust a guy that got into hardcore through metal, right? It's like,
Right.
we talk to a lot of people that's like punk first, then they start getting influenced by metal. But it seems like you kind of had the flip side of that. Like you talked about, I think I read in an interview that you were a big like Slayer fan, like, old school metal fan. Did you
Yeah.
sonically learn metal first and then have to pull in hardcore and punk influence into your music?
I think, yeah, I was definitely a metalhead first. I was listening to Metallica, and I remember when I went to the store and bought Master of Puppets the day it came out.
Sick.
Like stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
stuff like that. Like it was Megadeth, Metallica, Slayer, um, it's like just bands like that. And then like I distinctly remember the first time I probably heard a punk band was I was on a flight from Florida to Boston to visit my family. And there was this guy on the plane with this fire engine red mohawk. And we just got to talking, and he gave me a GBH tape and exploited tape to listen to on the
Sick.
plane. So I'm
Cool.
on the plane, and like everything just sort of like started to flip at that point. I was like, oh, wait, like this metal was really cool, but like I don't really identify
Sure.
with what they're singing about or what their lives are like. But listening to the exploited and talk about like street level shit,
Mm.
you know what I mean? Like you start to recognize like, oh, I can identify with these people way more than I can identify with these other people. And then when I got, into Minor Threat, it was all over from there.
You're
I,
telling me that you didn't identify with Icon Blood from Cannibal Corpse? That wasn't why.
Ironically, just that song was the only thing.
Just that one. That's the one where you're like, okay, I'm a metalhead because of this song specifically.
Because of this one song, I also have this ailment. I'm not sure what's going on. But no, but like I remember I was into skateboarding too. But I got into skateboarding through Anthrax. Not through like punk,
Yeah.
So I remember being at this half pipe that was built in the woods somewhere in the middle of nowhere in Florida, and there was this dude skating, and on his Volkswagen Bug, he had a Dag Nasty sticker and a Minor Threat sticker, and I just thought this dude was so fucking cool, right? Because I wasn't even skating. I was just standing there. I was never good, but I was like there,
Uh-huh.
And I went like right to the store, right to the mall, bought the Minor Threat tape and bought a Dag Nasty tape. And I was like, this is it. This is where I'm supposed to be. And, metal sort of took a back seat. And then like it wasn't until like years later I was like, well, wait a minute, metal's still cool. And you kind of revisit, kind of went through like these waves of it, and so it's like yeah, man, Minor Threat and Dag Nasty, like that was I want to say that was probably, I don't even know what year that was. My first show was 1988.
Okay.
I wasn't supposed to be there. My parents had no idea. like I had no business being at this down on South Beach in Miami in 1988. My first show was Agnostic Front and Verbal Assault.
It's wild.
And like game changer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just absolute game changer from there. And then it was just, the rest is hardcore history, as they say. But it was just I knew when I heard it for the first time, I was like, this is what I need to be doing. This is what I need to be involved in.
Yeah.
So talk to me about some of those early years. When was the first time like moshing went from like push moshing to you saw people like swinging fists? Like when did that start coming into play?
Yeah, I've been asked this question before.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it at least in Florida, it was a progression. It didn't just go from DRI push pits to like karate immediately.
Yeah.
Like it didn't just like one day someone was doing this, someone was doing that. There was like a gradual, you would see like little things here and there, like, oh, what's that guy doing? Oh, what's this guy doing? And then before you knew it, it was just a full-on Muay Thai fight the entire time a band was playing. The exact time, I don't know. I want to say it was very early 90s. I want to say it was 90, maybe even where we started seeing some of that in Florida. I don't know what was going on up because you got to remember, Florida it takes 8 hours just to get out of Florida if you're in Miami.
Right.
Like you're just trapped down there. Sun beating on your goddamn head all day. Like it's just 98% humidity and it's 145 in the shade. Like it's just you're dying down there. Nobody wanted to come down there and play because it was so far out of the way back then. There was nothing in between Atlanta and Miami for a really long time. So, Atlanta to Miami is whatever it is, 8 hours. Like who wants to make that trip for one show? It didn't happen all that often. It started to happen. More bands started to make the trip, but earlier on for me, it didn't happen. So I feel like it started to happen when bands were coming from the East Coast that were finally coming down and playing, and that's when we started seeing, oh, what is this guy doing?
Yeah.
Like and then like any sun drunk person would do, you just imitate it, like so.
Why
And
not?
I tell that's sort of how it happened with us down there. I can't speak for any other scene, but it was really just we were so far detached from everything else that it had to be imported to us.
Yeah.
So
And then good.
To add to that, then obviously with a heavy like metal scene, death metal and stuff like that, the fast parts are where people are pushing and moshing and stuff along those lines.
Yeah.
You guys start to add breakdowns.
Right.
Were the breakdowns because you noticed that's when things got more rowdy? Or why did like a breakdown heavy sound start to develop?
I think that the bands we were listening to were doing it. Like the Overcasts of the world.
Okay.
Like there were certain bands that we would hear and be like that's what we were gravitating to, is what we were just listening to in the car driving down the street. So it was more of like, it was more of an influence that we didn't know we were getting an influence from, because we weren't like I said, we weren't like, hey, we got to write a song like this. Let's
Yeah.
do a part like that. Let's do this. We would just write a song and then be like, all right, I think a mosh part can go here.
Sick.
Not with, and we would just write something. It wasn't so much that we were like, that we had a formula, because some songs didn't have any mosh parts. They had heavy parts, but they didn't have like quote unquote breakdowns. I'm not really sure the breakdowns started coming. I really think, and I could be wrong, and this is just me off the top of my head, I think we have Hatebreed to blame for the breakdown, which is fine by me, because the first time I heard Satisfaction, I contemplated murder. I was like, this is what if I was going to kill someone, this is the soundtrack to do that to. So I feel like when bands like that started coming around, then there may have been more of a formula for bands. Like, oh, I want to sound like that. I want to do this. I want to do that. But earlier on for us, it was just very, like I said, very organic. And um, did we pull some influences? I'm sure, undoubtedly, we did. But not on purpose.
So how was that like received though? Because I feel like you have this weird period in like the mid 90s where there is this like metallic hardcore, metalcore, whatever you want to call it. Did it take a little bit for that to grab on for people? Because it feels like you did go from like really fast agnostic front type punk hardcore to this like culture, excessive force, earth crisis type stuff that they really ingrained the metallic hardcore side of it. Was that welcomed, or were people just like, did it take a while to warm up to it?
No, like that, to me, that was one of the coolest things about the South Florida hardcore scene, is that there would be 8 different types of bands playing together and nobody cared.
Yeah.
Like, you could have Culture play with Strong Arm, then play with a ska band, and
Sick.
and then like just like a pop punk band,
Yeah.
all on the same bill. And like, it was just cool. Like, no one, there were so many different types of bands down there that it was inevitable. You had to do that in order to play shows, you know? So it's like, it didn't take, I think people were just stoked to have bands,
Mm.
And everybody was a lot more open to all types of bands, because that's all we had,
Yeah.
you know? Like, there are some scenes that would just have like this types of bands, and those bands will play with the same types of bands, and that would just be the end of it. We had a unique situation where we had all types of bands: pop punk bands, ska bands, punk bands, metal bands, and metallic hardcore, regular hardcore, however you want to break it up.
Sure.
There was just a little bit of everything, and we would all play shows together.
That's cool. I
Yeah, it
like
was
hearing
awesome.
that. Yeah, that's awesome.
It was awesome. Like, I don't know today how many mixed genre shows you can do. Once in a while, I think you can pull it off, but I don't know if it's one of those things where it could be a regular thing.
Right.
Well, it feels like it's just like a level of heavy and heavier. It's not
Right,
like you
right.
said, it's not like ska
Yeah.
and metalcore and stuff like that. So I think you're
Right.
right there. Did you guys know, like, did you guys have a feeling of like the scene that you had at that time with, again, you guys, Shai Halud, Strong Arm, like South Florida popped off for a minute with actually really influential bands. Did you
Sure.
guys like have an idea that you guys had something special, or was it not until years later where you could look back and be like, oh damn, that was actually really, really cool?
In the moment, no, we had no idea. Like I said, we were just doing what we wanted to do. I think the first inclination that we had of it being a thing was when we went to Europe.
Oh, okay.
And every single band we played with sounded like us.
Okay.
It would sound like us and sound like Morning Again.
Yeah.
Like those were the two bands that we were on Good Life recordings.
Mhm.
We went on tour at the same time. We were like a week apart from each other. And a couple of shows we linked up and played with each other. But like that was like when we would go play shows, I'm like, oh, like that's actually one of our songs, I think. Like you would hear parts and it was cool. I was like, yo, that's pretty fucking cool to me that like that's happening, you know? And then there was other later you would find like other bands that like in the States that would take more of that, like, I don't even want to say metal route, but like the more metallic type of route. And like that was cool. I don't know how much. I feel like Morning Again probably had more of an influence than we did because they were around longer. They went into the 2000s and now they're still doing it now after a little break. But like they went on longer. So I think that their influence was a little bit more than Culture's was. But without Culture, there's no Morning Again. Without Culture and Morning Again, there's no Poison the Well.
Yeah.
That first Poison the Well record, they should write Morning Again a check for royalties because that's all that is the Morning Again record. And when I just went and saw Poison the Well, we were all sitting around talking about that. I'm like, man, isn't it wild that like Culture, Morning Again, and like Poison, like how we're all still playing shows. Like obviously they're at a completely different level, but like just the idea of, I remember like them dudes being 14 years old and like sneaking to our shows. It's just kind of cool.
That's
it's like,
cool.
it's like, and here you are now playing this giant theater and it's fucking awesome. Like it's great. So it's like, it's pretty wild to have been a part of that first wave of that happening.
So I was just going to ask you about that too, because it's weird when you're younger, even an age gap of 3 or 4 years feels significant, right?
Yeah.
Right now, we're 35, you're what, 53 kind of thing? Like,
yeah,
not a big deal. Who cares, right? But
right.
when you're 18, a 13 or 14-year-old, you're like, I shouldn't be talking to you. Like, so how was that second wave? And did you guys actually like participate in it or kind of know the kids coming up? So Poison the Well, you had Under Oath. The weird thing was like Shai Hulud, they recruited Chad Gilbert to do their vocals, who went on for Newfound Glory and stuff like that. They're all late 90s. So they're about 4 years removed. Were you still involved enough where you like did know those guys, or were they doing their own thing at that point?
They were all, Chad wasn't because he was like 10, but
fair.
But like all those other guys, all the Shai Hulud guys, they were all around when Culture was a thing. They just weren't doing Shai Hulud yet. So we're all roughly the same age, except Chad's obviously the youngest. But like, fun fact about Chad, I sold Chad his first guitar.
Oh, sick.
And I had to talk his mom into letting him go on his first Shai Hulud tour. She's like, you're older. She's like, you're older. You've been on tour. What, is it okay if Chad goes? I'm like, Chad's going to be in great hands. Like, everything's going to be fine. And then meanwhile, I'm like, he could die. Who knows? We're out here touring. Like, touring was a wild, wild west. We don't know what's going to happen out there. But like, it was, he lived in the apartments below me.
Oh, sick.
That's cool.
So what you're telling me is Newfound Glory writing the song It's All Downhill From Here was Chad's mom blaming Rich for Chad's.
Yes. Sorry, Mrs. Gilbert. I apologize. No, but like All those guys were around. So when we say second wave, it's just a second wave of bands, not so much people.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
So like it was, they were all within the age bracket that they should be. Like it was everyone was like everyone hung out for years. So it's we all knew each other from being in bands after culture, during culture. Like as friends Rust and all that kind of stuff. It was all everybody just knew each other.
Gotcha. So okay, so this wraps up.
I had moved to Gainesville with culture. Moved to Gainesville, Florida. We moved out of South Florida, moved to Gainesville, Florida. And then after Europe, I guess that was '97. It must have been Europe. I wasn't in the band anymore. So culture stayed in Gainesville, carried on for a little bit longer, and then that dissolved. Morning Again kept going. Shai Haluda was already going with Chad. So it was like the same bands and people were going. It just was different bands.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So you were there. Can you confirm or deny that Matt Fox was the one who came up with the term metalcore?
Listen, did he say that?
I'm pretty sure Matt claims
I think he's
metalcore.
on record. I think he is on record said that he like gives himself credit for coined the term metalcore.
Listen,
not throwing shit at Matt Fox. We have someone who
if Matt Fox wants to take credit for the word metalcore, my man, you go right ahead and take credit for that. I'm really happy for you. We'll get you a plaque. Fun fact about Matt Fox: he used to work at the arcade at the mall by my house, and he used to call me a suicidal skinhead because I would have my suicidal tendencies shirt on, and I'd walk in with my Doc Martens. He used to call me suicidal skin.
That's pretty funny.
Before I knew who he was.
That's way funny.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay, so you wrap up culture in '97. You move up to Ohio. Is that where you move next? Is that correct?
Yes.
And that was just to get out of Florida, or what was the purpose of the move?
I just wanted to get the hell out of Florida, and I had friends here, so it was just an easy move. It wasn't supposed to be the final move, but it was the easy move. I tried to start a couple of bands here when I first got here. Nothing really stuck. And then I got the call to go join Blood Has Been Shed in Connecticut.
Yeah.
So
yeah, you're going. Yeah. So Blood Has Been Shed. So first of all, you've been a part of what are very significant bands, right? Number one, culture. Blood Has Been Shed. Like Howard Jones goes on to Killswitch Engage.
Sure.
Was Howard part of Blood Has Been Shed while you were playing with it too?
Oh yeah.
How was early days Howard Jones?
Howard Jones was I don't really know him now anymore. We've talked a few times on the phone, a couple of texts here and there, but it's been a long time since we've been in the same room. He was a pretty solid dude when I was in Blood Has Been Shed. He was a good dude. I considered him a friend of mine. One of the best singers I've ever heard. He was the main financial backer of Blood Has Been Shed at that time. And I feel like without him as the singer at the beginning, Blood Has Been Shed would not be what Blood Has Been Shed is now. Revered as, without him, I feel like it would just been another band that would have just fizzled out. Like Corey was the guitar player. And I've told him this. I've talked to him more actually in the last couple of years than I did the 20 years prior. That he made me a better guitar player with pushing me to play some of the stuff that I didn't even think could be possible on a guitar. I'm like, how are you making that note? What is that fucking note that you're doing? And how am I supposed to do that? Like I don't know what that is. And then he just taught me about gear. He taught me about guitar and how to do certain things and melodies, and he just made me an all around better guitar player. Um, Being in Blood's Been Shed was one of the coolest experiences for me. Um, I wish it had lasted longer,
Yeah,
such as life. That's a story for another podcast.
sure.
Um, but yeah, it was one of the greatest times playing some of the shows we did, and just sitting in that little room and writing these songs and getting to record Novella with them was just like
Yeah.
mind blowing. Like just a mind blowing experience that I hope that when I get super old, I don't start forgetting shit, because that's something I want to remember. I want to remember
Yeah.
that forever.
Sick. So, you obviously toured with Culture and everything, but was there a little bit of like, was there any sort of like scene shock going from South Florida up to now Connecticut? You're kind of that Northeast. You have all of like the historic hardcore scene kind of
Right.
going on. Was there any sort of like scene shock up there, or because of the touring, you'd kind of known what to expect?
Yeah, as far as like the playing the shows part, it wasn't. But let me tell you something about the Northeast, man. Those are some of the scariest motherfuckers I've ever seen in my life. So coming from Florida, where listen, we had our own scary dudes, but then you get there and you're like, oh my goodness, like this,
They
I don't
don't
feel
give a
safe.
shit.
They don't care.
Yes.
I could be in a tarp buried somewhere very quickly, and no one would like it was. They were like, there were definitely some scary dudes, and then when you finally meet said scary dudes, you're like, wait a minute, these guys are fucking awesome. Like these guys are rad as hell. And there's people that I met during Bloods Been Shed that I'm still incredibly good friends with today, just from meeting them during that time. If I had never gone to Connecticut to play in Bloods Been Shed, I may never have met them on that kind of level. So it was like I said, doing that move, even though it was just a little over a year, was like really an important part of my life.
Sick. Sick. So we go from Blood Has Been Shed. You end there. You go to Diecast, right? Pretty quickly. That's the next thing.
Yeah,
And
I
that was
did,
just
but
a
2
quick
months.
stop.
It was like 2 months. Yeah.
So Diecast, but they're like a way more metal influenced band. At least their recent stuff, right? Were they
Right.
more hardcore to start?
Sure. Yeah. Their first full length was very. Yeah. It wasn't like there were parts that were like you would consider metallic. Whatever that word really means.
Sure.
I'll ask Matt Fox. He probably has the actual definition. But yeah, it was. I wanted to join the band. I couldn't move to Boston, so I was still living in Connecticut.
Yeah.
So I'm driving 2 hours for band practice, and then 2 hours home. It just became too much. It just became overwhelmingly too much for me to do. I'm spending 4 hours in the car, 2 hours in practice. And we're practicing twice a week.
Yeah.
So it just became a thing where it's like I can't do it. And then shortly after that, I think I played like 3 shows with them.
Okay.
It was very short lived. If someone asked me if I was in Diecast, I just say I played a couple of shows with them, because I wouldn't necessarily say I was in Diecast. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't long enough to say that. Like I said, though, met some incredibly awesome people during that time that I'm still friends with now. So that's rad for me. Like that makes it worthwhile for me.
in any of these bands that because it sounds like a couple of these you kind of came in after they'd started, right?
Mhm.
Did you ever get to any of these where you're just like, I don't know how I'm gonna fill these shoes? I don't know how I'm gonna play this. I don't did you ever feel like a little, not over your head, but just like a little overwhelmed with coming in after the fact?
I wouldn't necessarily say overwhelmed because like I started in Blood's Been Shed, I played bass first.
Mm.
And that was way easier than the guitar stuff. So like, but I was familiar with the songs enough. So when I moved to guitar, I was already familiar with the songs.
Sure.
So that wasn't that difficult. The diecast stuff, listen, wasn't rocket science. Not much of what was going on back then was rocket
Right.
science. So it's not like we were. It wasn't a difficult thing to learn, and I didn't know them enough to think I was filling shoes.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? Like I didn't
Yeah.
know the lineage for them to be like, oh man, I don't know. That dude's kind of a big deal. I don't know if I could feel like I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just didn't know. And then like, you know, it wasn't really difficult to kind of jump into it because I was so into it.
Okay.
I was like, I want to be playing music. I don't really give a shit. Like, I'm gonna figure this out. Even if I think it's hard, I'm gonna figure out a way to make this work.
Yeah.
So
I just like I'm not musical at all. So like to me, like walking into a band and like feeling the pressure of like having to learn their stuff, like I don't know. That just seems like I know I would be a little overwhelmed walking into a situation, but that's just because I have no idea. You
right.
know? So
Yeah, I mean, luckily I have enough musical prowess to be able
yeah,
to get it eventually. It may not be right away. It may not be first try, second try, third try, but I'm gonna get there eventually.
yeah, that's cool. That's cool.
So the next big documented one is going to be Terror, right? We've already
Well,
we
in
that's
between there,
okay.
in between there is One Nation Under.
Oh, okay. One Nation Under. Was this one that you
Yeah.
started, or was this one you joined?
Yes, I started One Nation Under.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And
like right when I got back from Connecticut, I started One Nation Under. It wasn't called One Nation Under at first. It was called Broken Glass Everywhere. That was the
okay.
first name, and that was definitely very. It was very metal. It was very like we tried to be as metal as like Killswitch, like the first
Ah,
Killswitch. Um, and the songs were cool, but like they were kind of like whatever. And then I went. I was a roadie for Walls of Jericho where they went to their first West Coast tour,
okay.
and I saw Throwdown for the first time.
Mm.
Sick.
And I was like, I went to a payphone. They had those back then. I went to
Yeah,
a
yeah.
payphone, called everyone in the band. I said, "Hey, we're changing things up," and then One Nation Under just turned into a mini Throwdown.
Sick.
is
And
Okay.
is
that's essentially what happened. Like I was like, what would Throwdown do here? Like, so that was one of those times where I was like, we're gonna sound like that. We're gonna write
Hell
songs and
yeah.
sound like that, and that's what we did. I
is
mean,
this the album that's like orange and has like the hand holding arrows?
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because when I was doing research, I was listening to it a little bit today, and you know what's funny is this sound is like huge right now.
Right. Yeah.
What do they call it? Like revival core, like the "I Promised the World" and
Who
Balmora and
knows?
stuff. Like
Yeah.
it's huge right now.
There's so many labels.
I know. We can't keep track of it, but yeah. But yeah, this is a cool album. Like seriously, this is a cool album.
Yeah, it was. I mean, that was like my like after Blood's Machete, I was like, I had to do something right away. Like I had to. I was like,
Yeah.
I want to start something right away, and it just sort of all happened, and we played Hellfest.
Oh, sick.
Um,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And we played on a Saturday, and it was wild because it was like we played like fourth on a Saturday. We're like, this is probably gonna suck. Like, we're one of the first bands playing. This is gonna blow. Like, whatever. But it was just cool. Like the
Yeah.
place was packed, but you still don't think like no one knows us really. It's just gonna be a whatever. So the first band that played was like some emo band. Second band that played was another emo band. Third band that played was like I don't want to say it was the emo band, but there was no moshing going on. We played and the fucking place erupted.
Sick.
Not so much because I think they were like, One Nation Under is the best, but they were like, finally we can mosh. Like I think that was, I feel like that was more of the vibe, you know.
Yeah.
But like it was awesome. I have it on a VHS tape somewhere. Our set,
So sick.
and it's somewhere. I don't know exactly where it is, but it's like that. That was like a show. You know what I mean? I was like,
That's sick.
holy fuck! Like this is sick. And then we played the 2002 Furnace Fest.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Yeah, and that's when I started talking to Scott about terror and stuff. There's a
Okay.
whole story about me and Scott. If you want to get into it, I could condense it to where it's not too long. So we're in Europe and we're playing a show with Despair. Despair was still together at the time. So it's Culture, Despair, Morning Again, and a bunch of Euro bands on this like festival date. Scott was thinking that like the band was either gonna Despair was gonna break up or the guitar player was gonna quit. Like something was happening with them. I wasn't really feeling Culture anymore, and to be quite honest, they weren't really feeling me anymore either. So, so I was like, all right, well, when we get back to the States, let's connect and talk about it. So we get back to the States. I'm not in Culture anymore. I'm talking to Scott about Despair. He's like, I'm not sure what's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. A couple of weeks go by, and he's like, well, Despair broke up. I'm like, oh, well, that sucks. He goes, but I'm starting this new band if you want to move to Buffalo and start it with me. And I'm like, I don't know, man. Well, that band was buried alive.
Yeah.
So I'm a fucking asshole. So you look back on that and you're like, you dumb son of a bitch. You moved to Ohio instead of fucking going and playing Buried Alive. You know, but you know, if I had done that, I wouldn't have been the blood has been shed. There's a whole
Right.
series of events.
Yeah.
But when Scott Vogel asks you a second time if you want to join one of his bands, you just fucking say yes and you don't ask any questions. So and that's how I ended up playing bass in Terror.
Sick.
Yeah.
So again, we don't have to get into like the whole back history of the terror stint because it's well documented. You've talked about that a lot. I'm sure everyone asked you about that. But the one question I do have is, what was your favorite show you played with Terror?
The favorite show, there were two shows that stand out the most. One is the show in California that Bridge 9 put out the live record for.
Sick. Okay.
That show was like, it was like, to me, it's what everything a hardcore show should have been. Right. And then we played a show in Montreal at a fest in Montreal with like Death for Every Sin and like those bands. And that was bonkers to me. Like people were jumping over my head. It was like a whole thing. So it's like when I think of like what I think of a hardcore show, like those two shows stand out. Now there were other great shows. There were shows in Oxnard in California we played that were fucking great. We played Gilman Street with Bleeding Through, and that was fucking crazy.
Oh, that's
but like,
sick.
Yeah, but like those two shows in particular just sort of stand out to me as like the best shows.
So you said it's because it's everything that a hardcore show should be. So if you envision a perfect hardcore show, obviously we can go watch the tape. But what does that consist of? Because Terror is, in my mind, the epitome of what hardcore should be. He's stage dive, mosh, calls, chants, all that kind of stuff. So for you, what is that?
I will go on record right now and say Terror is the greatest hardcore band that has ever been.
Fair,
hands down,
valid.
The greatest, to me, the greatest hardcore band that's ever been. Whether or not I was in it or not, my little stint did not make them the greatest hardcore. Like their longevity and the things they've been able to accomplish and reinvent themselves almost each record, but still stay true to everything that they're doing. There's not a lot of bands that could do that. A lot of hardcore bands don't have 10 fucking albums.
Right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And their last one is incredible.
Dude, this new album is so bonkers.
Yeah.
It's like you're listening to, you're like, how did you write this? Like, this is fucking perfect, you know?
Yeah.
Well, on top of that, they get Chuck Reagan to do hardcore vocals for them on the Terror record.
Right. There's just a lot of bands that have that kind of longevity. I mean, you have like the Agnostic Fronts, the Madballs, stuff like that, but a lot of those bands also took breaks in between,
Right.
where Terror never did. They never took one single break from 2000 to 2026. They have not taken a break.
Yeah.
It has been nonstop, full speed ahead the whole time. But the best when I think of a hardcore show, I think of incredible amount of stage dives, the sing along, and I like. Listen, I like a good violent pit as much as anybody else, especially when it's like the riff is just hitting and these people, these knuckle draggers are just bashing each other in the face. Like, that's the best shit, dude. It's the best. However, nothing beats a sing along.
Yeah.
Nothing beats
100%.
Nothing beats a sing along, because anybody can figure out when a mosh part's coming and start moshing. Someone that is memorized your lyrics and how to sing them and where to sing them and wants to sing them with you, that took time.
Right.
Of them like listening to your band over and over and studying and reading the lyrics and doing all that stuff. That to me is more personal than 260-pound dudes bashing each other in the face, which I love, and I'm guilty of charge. Like, don't get me. I'm not belittling it at all. But to me, a sing along with stage dives on top of the sing along, it's unfuckwithable. It's like the greatest feeling in the world.
Absolutely. There you go. We can end right there. No, I've got more questions. So one of the interviews I listened to with you is you were on with Sarah, the hardcore therapist. We've been on with Sarah. She's awesome. Love Sarah.
She is.
One of the things that just touched my soul of someone has vocalized how I feel is your concern about death and just your mind shutting off. Okay. Now I'm going to tie this back into a little bit more of the hardcore scene.
Okay.
We've been straight edge for our whole lives as well, kind of thing. Kind of same thing as you. Never had interest in drinking, never had interest in drugs. Hardcore, straight edge is always associated with us. I think part of my concern in not wanting to do drugs is the potential of an overdose and stuff like that, and for those licenses turn off. Do you have that? Was that ever part of your fear as well, or is this just turned into old age brain turning off kind of thing?
It's got deep real quick, man. So I hope we go to commercial break first and then
hold on. Let me get a sip of my
your lemon lime soda.
All right, here we go. No, here's my why I think the way I do. South Florida was a lawless place. Like, the hardcore scene was bonkers. It was dangerous. There was, it was at a time when there was no phones, no cameras, no, so when shit popped off, it would just pop off until it was done popping off. Nobody was calling cops. So living the way we did down there, my life expectancy for myself was about 25, 26 years old. I didn't expect to live past that. So I lived my life accordingly. I was a fucking maniac, as we all were, right? So come, 40 years old, you're like, wait a minute. I didn't prepare myself for this part of life. I have a daughter. I have, I'm married at the time. Like, I have a mortgage. Like, I have a whole life that I'm responsible for. I can't just go down to South Beach and beat up nerds for no reason anymore. I have like a real thing going on here, like, and that's when it starts, the idea of death. And, now that I'm 53, I'm like, when you look at the totality of it all, I'm supposed to only live until 72. That's an average age, so I'm well into the back nine at this point, right? So the idea of it just stopping and there's nothing else scares the fucking shit out of me, right? But like, what is also the flip side of that, which also doesn't make any sense, is that like I put myself in life and death situations more often than I probably should. So I think it's not the fear of getting killed, it's the fear of dying.
Right.
Like it's not a logical thing at all. Like I'm not saying it makes sense, but like the idea of like not going to sleep tonight and not waking up tomorrow and I just never wake up again blows my fucking mind. Like it blows my mind to the point where like there's nights that I'll sit up all night thinking about it and be like, what in the actual fuck am I going to do? How do I live forever? Like, what am I going to do? Like, so there's no answer for it. There's no, it's a futile thing to even think about.
Right.
You can't change it.
Right.
Nothing you can do about it. But, I just sort of in the last, and it did take a lot of therapy to get me to a point where I was like, okay, these are certain things that I need to change about myself in order to be there for other people. And, it took years. I wish I had done it sooner. I really did, because there's probably people that I would still be friends with today had I done it sooner. There's also another flip side to that, which me and Sarah we touched on, that when you go to therapy and you start recognizing the things that are fucked up in you, you then can see what's fucked up in somebody else and you can stay away from it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, we don't have to get too deep into it, but like it took me longer than it should have, but like B, I'm glad that it came around the way it did, because like my 50s have been pretty awesome.
Sick.
Like I've been able to do some pretty cool shit, and I've been able to make new friends, reconnect with old friends, sometimes just apologize to people. We may never talk again, but like, hey man, I was a real fucking dickhead and I apologize to you. We don't gotta be friends. We don't gotta talk ever again after this. I'm just letting you know I know that I fucked up, and I want you to know that I'm not gonna do that to somebody else because I fixed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like you can only do what you can do.
Right.
And it's also not anybody's responsibility to forgive you either. You just got to you have to do what you do to make yourself a better person. And like I said, I wish I had done it sooner, but like, such is life. It happened the way it was supposed to happen.
Listen, man, like, again, the way that you were talking about it, because I'm the same way. I'm like, if I die tomorrow, I die tomorrow. Like, I've got a family, I don't want to, but inevitables happen. But again, the idea of just something turning off
doesn't make any fucking sense.
It doesn't. We are going to live forever.
Fine. Bring it on. Listen, if there were such things as vampires, I'd say, bite me, motherfucker. I'm ready to be immortal. I don't ever want to, like, the idea of dying is bonkers. It doesn't make any sense. I think of like friends of mine that have passed, and I'm like, man, like they're just gone.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Holy fuck. Like, what the fuck? They're just gone.
Yeah.
And then we're all going to be gone someday. It's just the way it is. But like, I just want to make the last years that I have, like, just the dopest fucking shit I could do.
Yeah.
And have the absolute most fun I could have with the people that matter the most to me.
This is
perfect transition.
Yeah.
No grave. Okay, let's talk about it.
Those guys are a bunch of pieces of shit. No.
Yeah.
Kyle, I think that's actually where you were going too.
No, it wasn't. I was going to go deeper.
No?
No, we're good. We'll move on.
Oh.
I could have. Yeah, I can only take.
We could be here forever if we're going to keep going.
I do want
to. Don't get me started on dying and mental health and fucking up and redemption, because listen, I'm the poster boy for fucking up. There ain't no if ands, and buts about it. It's just how you come out on the other side that matters. And
Yeah.
I feel like I'm doing everything that I can to
And
to
you
make.
can have those conversations with Sarah, who is a licensed therapist. We
Yeah.
are a couple of jackasses who
Yeah.
are just going to just talk. So
I just
Here we go.
it makes me laugh because you keep saying like that makes no sense. And there's a comedian, Pete Holmes, that talks about like
Oh yeah,
people that are
we're on
like,
a
well, I'm in
plane right
America, and
now.
he's all zoom out. We're on a rock flying through space. It makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, like that's it. Like it just doesn't make any
Yeah,
fucking sense. But
yeah, yeah.
anyway,
Okay.
knuckle dragging mosh. Let's get back to that.
exactly.
Knuckle dragging mosh. Dude, let's talk about this because you guys just dropped what already is up there. I've said this already about like 6 or 7 albums that have dropped, but this is honestly and truly one of the best albums that has come out so far this year. So
Well,
Suffer
thank you, Tim.
Together dropped. Ooh, I don't have my day in front of me. When did we drop?
May 1st?
1st.
May 1st. It's been just over a week.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
2 weeks. Coming up on 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Mhm.
Yeah. When we looked as we were first talking, I swear I could be wrong. Monthly listeners was under 1,000.
It was
You guys-
736.
You guys have popped to 13,000 listeners as of today. So number one, phenomenal album, incredible, heavy ass, beat someone up, like let's go kind of thing. But how's the reception been? Like for you guys as the band, people reaching out, like how's it been?
It's really been nothing short of incredible. Like this album was done a year ago,
Okay.
right? We and we had planned on putting it out with Heroes and Martyrs. Steve just had he was working out a deal with Death Wish, where Death Wish was going to be the exclusive distributor of the Heroes and Martyrs catalog. He didn't want to release the record before he got that done because then we wouldn't have gotten the benefits of that, which is the distribution, which is the just the algorithm stuff, all that kind of stuff. So it was frustrating waiting, but then when it all happened very quickly, it went from we have no plan to video single record coming out. Like it all happened in a month.
Yeah.
As soon as the Death Wish thing was done and ready to go, we were in high gear. The response that I've been getting from people is unexpected. I think it's a great record, but I'm supposed to.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. I'm supposed to think that because I was a part of it. But like when that many complete strangers, people I have no idea who they are, where their walks of life, nothing, I don't know anything about them, message me directly or message the band directly saying like, yo, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And you're like, and let me also preface this with, I hate this world we live in where these numbers matter.
Yeah.
Streams and all that. I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Because that should not equate whether a band is good or not.
Right.
But unfortunately, this is kind of the world we're in right now with technology and all that stuff. But to watch the, like you said, the monthly listeners, it's going up like 2,000 a day.
Yeah.
To like right now, we're just shy of 36,000 streams of the record.
Half of those are mine.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
The same as dying. It doesn't make any sense. Like now, I know that in time this will all come back to earth, and there'll be a happy medium of you probably retained 50, 60% of that, but even that's mind boggling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we literally had 730 something monthly listeners
Right.
with the last stuff. And then as soon as this record came out, I was like this explosion. And it's pretty bonkers to be a part of it. Like just random people on TikTok are like talking about it.
Yeah.
Like what? Like what? Who are you? Like, how did we get here? Like, so it's like it's awesome, and it's other than like the two obvious bands, Terror and Blood's Been Shed. This has been like the most like notoriety immediately that I've ever gotten with anything I've been a part of.
Gotcha.
Culture was a slow burn. It wasn't until we were gone for a long time people were like, "Man, I miss that band." And then younger kids who didn't know weren't around when we were around got into it.
Yeah.
Then then it sort of turns into something else. But yeah, man, like it's really wild to be a part of it. And like I said, I just want to do the dopest shit and have the most fun I can have while I can. And this is part of that. Like this
Yeah.
little journey, I don't know how long it'll last. No one ever does. I don't know how long
Yeah.
the band lasts. The band could break up tomorrow for all I fucking know. Who knows? But like I'm in the moment instead of worrying about the next moment. I'm in this moment. Like this is fucking sick. I'm so glad that people are into it. It was painstakingly hard to do. So poured a lot of my time and effort and the other members' time and effort. And so it's like to see the reaction, to see the accolades, and to have not just peers, my friends, but complete strangers and like other bands that I don't even know reposting it.
Yeah.
You're like, wow, this is fucking rad, So
I mean,
I couldn't be happier with what's going on.
we spend a lot of time because of the podcast listening to a lot of music, right? And there are the occasional like albums and EPs that really just like blow us away. And I will tell you, man, listening to the intro of No Grave, when that snare starts hitting and then it goes into that like nasty riff, it just like it took me to another place, man. Like it was incredibly impressive. And so I have listened to it multiple times every day. It is spectacular, So
Just leave your when you go to bed, leave your phone on autoplay. Just keep getting those fucking.
I will, man. I don't even need to do that, man. I will
Just
listen
cycle
to it that much. I promise. So
Matter of fact, go put like 16 phones on your account. Line them all up.
It's like when those dudes all had the Pokemon Go contraptions and they're all swiping everywhere. Pokemon, like,
hell,
here we go. No grave contraption, just everyone, and you're just adjusting the songs as we go. Here we go.
So cool. The FBI raised my house for cell phone streams. Like, what the fuck?
The crazy part is, with all this AI music, that stuff's been happening.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
That's why when we have dope ass real music, like it should be celebrated.
Sure.
So,
yeah.
Let me ask you about this.
It's awesome. The whole thing, to answer your question, it's one of the greatest experiences of my life so far. And we're only 2 weeks in. So I just hope that people stay interested. We already have 5 new songs.
Sick.
Because like I said, it took us a year before that record came out. So we just started writing other songs just to have them. So this time next year, we'll probably be in the studio again, recording more songs.
Sick.
Cool.
Sick. So let me ask you about the band in general. You guys come together 2022, greater vision.
Yep.
Why the name change?
We got a cease and desist from a Christian band.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And what's funny is like they're like it's awful. I want everyone to go look it up because it's everything you would think it would be. Um, and their lawyer sent our label at the time a cease and desist from using the name. And we tried to be like, all right, well, let's just amend the name. Greater
Right.
Vision Ohio, Greater Vision HC, Greater like we just I mean, if there can be a Nirvana
Right.
04 or whatever it is like Martyr AD because it was already a martyr, so it's Martyr
Right.
AD. Like if we can't do that, like what you're not that
Right.
important, y'all. Like it's like
Yeah.
we're like, and they like wouldn't budge. The last thing they said was, you should tell the band to get a lawyer because I'm gonna file for
That
and we were like,
is
yeah.
insane.
So
That
we're just
sounds like a mega church backing threat right there. Screw those guys.
none of us had Jesus money at the time, so we were like, all right. So we just decided to change the name, and yeah, it's I'm not even exactly sure where I got the name from. I was just sitting at
Okay.
home writing stuff down, like
Yeah.
looking up some of my favorite bands' song names and see if anything would like hit me.
Resonate.
Like if any,
Yeah.
could I take two song names and make them one name and make it the name of the band? Like, like just things like that. And I don't know how I came across No Grave. I'm sure it's a song from someone.
Yeah.
At this point, I do not remember what that is. But yeah, that's what we just kind of stuck with it. And it's funny because now there's like Grave Hunter, Grave. There's a whole bunch of other bands that have Grave in it now, and it's kind of funny. We're trying to like, I've hit a few of them up. Like, hey, let's book a tour where it's all of us fighting for Dave Dependency. But
The graveyard tour.
yeah, just something ridiculous like No Grave, Graves Inc. There's like a whole bunch of different things. I was like, but like
dude at a monster truck rally with Gravedigger.
yeah, right. Yeah. I mean like that he's the intermission, like,
Yeah, that's sick.
we all the bands play on top of the ramps. All the
Dude, I
jumps.
would pay real money to see that.
I paid real money to be able to do that. Never mind. But yeah, so we changed the name, and I actually think it's a better name for what we're kind of playing music wise. To me, it sort of fits better than Greater Vision does. But yeah, it just sort of had to happen, and we just did it, and then we just rolled with it from there.
So
it wasn't even that long after the initial EP came out either. It was like a month later. Because what happened is Apple fucked up and attached us to their discography. That's the only reason why they knew what we were. Otherwise, they would have no clue.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's how that happened.
Okay.
Bastards. Fucking Apple.
You know what? Just like you said, I do think that fits the sound right now. But that first EP, Disappear Completely, phenomenal.
Thank you.
It's not as heavy as Suffer Together, but
No.
it's phenomenal. Drift and Aftermath might be some of my favorite songs you guys have written.
We still play Drift in the set. We don't play Aftermath. We play Drift.
So Drift is awesome. Aftermath, though, that opening, like normally that intro is just a separate interlude.
Right.
So I wanted to ask you specifically, why did you attach it to a song instead of just keeping it an interlude?
I think it was more because I didn't know how to make it just an interlude.
Okay.
And I wanted it in between those two songs. So I was like, well, just for purposes of like the record and like MP3s and CDs, just attach it to this song.
Yeah.
I know there is a way to do that. At the time I was like, I don't know that I care. Like it can be attached to either song. To me, it makes sense to put it at the beginning of a song instead of an end of another one. So just have it start like that. There was no real big plan. That's just kind of how we did it, you know.
That
And it's kind of it's like that on the new record too. It's just
yeah.
we attach it to certain songs.
Yeah. No, and I was actually going to say that because Suffer Together, it starts at the beginning of Rotten Foundation, right?
Yeah, it starts at the beginning of the song No Grave. We have that little
Yep, yep.
intro there. Um, there's the intro for Rotten Foundation. I feel like there's one more. There may not be, but I know those two for sure. Um, that yeah, we just attached it to the song.
Yeah. Okay, I gotcha. We come from an era of we loved listening to albums front to back, right?
Sure.
And so like the way that you guys have structured this and built it out, it's awesome. It's very specifically with that song, I was like, that would have been like just a killer interlude by itself. But it makes sense, just like the length of what would be the interlude versus what would be the song. Putting them together makes kind of a full song kind of thing. But I found it interesting. But yeah, no, it's a great EP as well. I've listened to that probably as much as I've listened to Suffer Together, but it's
What's
awesome.
funny about that EP is that at the time it was just me and Aaron, the singer.
Okay.
Like I wrote and recorded all the music, the drums, the bass, and the guitars,
Mm.
and then he went in and did vocals. We didn't have a band. We got offered for the label to put out the EP before we even had a band. I was like, well, we
Oh,
should probably
sick.
I'm like, we should probably get a band together because because we hadn't even played a show yet or anything.
Yeah.
I had just been talking to that label at the time when I was in another band, so the conversation just sort of
Progress.
continued, you know. So that's how that happened. Yeah, but there was no real plan with that first thing. It would disappear completely. It was just, hey, I have these songs that were supposed to be for the other band,
Okay.
and I'm like, I don't want to. I want to record them still, and I want to hear them. I want to I want to get them out, out of myself, And
Yeah.
I was like, Aaron, will you put the vocals on? He's like, yeah, sure. So that was really all it was supposed to be. It wasn't supposed to be anything other than that. And then it was like, oh, so you want to put a record out? All right, well, let me go find a drummer, another bass player, and another guitar player real quick because we
Yeah.
didn't have anybody, So that's just sort of how it turned into what it turned into now.
It's cool.
Sick. What's your favorite song off of Suffer Together?
My favorite song to play is Rotten Foundation. I love
Such a
playing
good
that.
song.
I love playing that song. Um, Lord of Envy is up there too.
That song's legit. The breakdown at the end of that hits so hard.
Yeah, like there's certain parts of these songs that I'll listen to and I'll be like, I can't believe you wrote that. Like I shocked myself. Like,
Yeah.
and again, it's not like I'm out here doing dream theater shit, but like, I'm not reinventing anything, but like, it's fucking cool that I wrote that riff, and it's cool
Yeah.
that the rest of the band was like, let me do this around that riff, and then we made a song out of that riff. Like that's magic to me. Like
Yeah.
there's not a lot of people that can do it and do it correctly, and based on the response, I feel like we did something right with this record.
So it's kind of interesting. It's kind of crazy. We were talking about this. So Kyle is not a deathcore guy. Kyle's not really a death metal guy. Okay. So like there is the band No Cure.
Yeah.
Kyle doesn't get down with No Cure as well.
Okay.
But you guys have enough melody. I'm going to speak for Kyle because I know what he's saying here. You guys have enough melody, like in Rotten Foundation and stuff like that, that it pulls it back into more like just heavy metallic hardcore as opposed to like the death influence.
Sure.
So is that where like you sit just like as a writer, or like today, what are some of those influences you're pulling from as opposed to, back in the day?
I will always and forever pull influence from Blood Has Been Shed. Always.
Yeah.
I always will. Acacia Strain, for sure.
I can hear that.
Yeah, like But then I have like your traditional stuff. Like to me, the 70% of Rotten Foundation sounds like Earth Crisis. It sounds
Yeah.
like something they would write.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like so that that's obviously an influence for me too. There's parts that I think are heavily influenced by like Turmoil.
Mm,
Like and
Same.
I can hear that in our songs. So like I pull from a lot of genres. 'Cause I listen to a lot of genres.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's like some of the melodies and stuff. I think of like some of the I don't want to say like kind of like deathcore bands and stuff. Once in a while they'll have like these big open chords and big open like sometimes that hits heavier than writing a mosh part.
Right.
Yeah.
These big open chords and open notes, and the guitars are doing two different things, and it's a whole thing. So it's like I love that when I hear other bands do that. So it's inevitable that I'm going to try and incorporate that into I'm also a huge Deftones fan, and they made a fucking career off it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Their whole career is based off those kind of rhythms. Um,
Yeah.
and in a couple of the new songs that we have that you haven't heard yet, I should probably write them a check because it's probably very evident, but like I also don't give a shit because like to me I'm paying homage to them, not like
Yeah.
thank you for influencing me to write this is how I look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think with this album, like I'm not a huge fan of deathcore. I don't know what it is. Usually it's the vocals, but I really like the vocals on Suffer Together. I also feel like there's like a level of maturity in the
Sure.
songwriting, and maybe it just happens because I think y'all have been around for a bit, you know?
Right. Yeah.
Um, but there's also, and I've said this about a couple other bands, but there's a level of like grown man anger to it. And I
Yeah.
like that, this is, and I think that's the best
Yeah.
way to put it is it's like grown man anger, you know?
Because we have things to be angry about.
Exactly. Yep.
We're not just angry for the sake of thinking that we have to be angry to play this kind of music.
Yeah.
We're angry at a million fucking things that happen in a day
Right.
that we have no control over, that we're getting fucked
Yeah.
every day. Like there's some riffs that I wrote and I was thinking about my daughter who she's 18, she just graduated high school. And like I think about like what are her kids going to inherit from the current state of the union?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
everybody's trying. Like I think of my kid. And I'm like, leave my daughter alone. Leave her body alone. Leave her mind alone. Let her. She has her own fucking. She doesn't need you to, Mister
Yeah.
White Republican man, to tell her what to do. Like
Yeah.
she doesn't need that from. Like she has her own thoughts, her own goals. So it's like that shit pisses me off.
Yeah.
And sometimes I won't even consciously know that I'm writing a song while being pissed off about that. But that's real life shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the you stabbed me in the back anger. It's like you're trying to take my kid's life from her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to take my life from me. Like you're taxing the shit out of me and everything I fucking do. Like it makes me mad. Like there's like other, like you said, grown man or grown woman things to be angry about.
Yeah.
So I think that does it. It sets a tone for what you're trying to get across. And if you're an artist, your artistry will, your paintings, your graphic design will reflect how you're feeling on the inside. Same thing with music.
Yeah.
If you're super happy, you're going to write a ska album. If you're fucking pissed off and you want to die, you're going to write the Acacia Strain album.
Yeah.
So it's like it's all about the emotions of who you are as a person. And sometimes I'm pretty fucking happy. Other times I'm like, oh, so this fucking sucks. So
Yeah.
it's just how you get through it. And writing these songs is, I know a lot of bands say it and it sounds corny sometimes, but it is cathartic to be able to revisit how you were feeling in those songs and then put it away after you're done. You're like, oh, I got that out. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that. You're like, so yeah, to your point, yeah, I think that there is a definite maturity to it. I think, and that's actually been echoed by a lot of people who have commented about it, that it's just sounds like a mature band, a mature record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, I think that it definitely played a really big part in it. And before we say any more about Suffer Together, I want to, like, Taylor Young produced this record for us.
Sick.
He, you know, God's Hate, Twitching Tongues, every
Yep.
every band, that's awesome. He's done. I feel like that without him touching this, it would have been a completely different vibe for the listener. He worked some incredible fucking magic, and I thank him almost every other day. I just text him like, brother, you did it. Thank you for this. Like, the next stuff we're gonna do, we're gonna go to California and record it at his studio. Like,
Hell yeah.
like, I feel like we've made this bond with him. Like, I don't want anybody else to touch our songs. I want him to be the one, because he gets it.
You are not the first one who has said that. The two best albums of the year right now, Suffer Together, and then Forever War. They're local. I'm biased. I'll admit it.
Sick. No, it's a sick record.
Forever War has put out one of the best albums. Taylor Young, he's a genius. First of all, kudos.
He produced the Terror record, the new Terror record.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, kudos to you guys. You guys are writing this insane, awesome music, and to have what is probably going to go down as the producer of this generation, who people flock to and know by name. This is going to be like 25, 26, 27 is going to be insane years for hardcore. It already is. And he's going to be like the mastermind behind it. It's insane. So
he reminds me of like the Steve Evans doing the Hate Breed Satisfaction, Buried Alive, Turmoil records. Like he was the guy that you went to go record, because it was that sound, it was that vibe, it was the whole thing. He helped all those bands get that tone, get that sound, get that feel. Then later on, you had Ross Robinson, who would do the Glassjaw records, and like all that kind of stuff. So it was like he, for sure, I feel like he's come into his own. He has his own style, he has his own sounds, he has his own way of doing things, and from my viewpoint, it's flawless.
Yeah,
he does a flawless job at making my riffs sound doper than they probably really are. You know what I mean? Like he like just the way he put it all together was. I remember when he was sending me just samples. What do you think of this? I was like, who is this? What band is this? I didn't write this. Because it just sounded so much better. Like, it sounded really good, and then he just made it like took it to that next level, So massive shout out to him, and like forever be grateful for what he did. And I can't wait to do it again. Like, I'm already psyched to do it again with him, so
sick.
That's cool. Well, look, man, I don't want to keep you like super late and stuff. We appreciate you jumping. No, I'm old, dude. I'm old,
We're lucky that you came past 4 p.m. Like, just admit where you're at in life.
I was having dinner at 3:30. I'm getting ready for
he was early bird at the Sizzler, and then came on and talked to us.
He's like 9:30. I'm like 9:30.
Just because you would probably be able to murder us doesn't mean you don't like to be in bed by 5 p.m. Like, it's fine.
My murdering days are over.
Last thing I wanted to ask, what else you got planned for this year? You guys playing any shows? You doing any fests, tours? What do you got this year?
June, we're doing a little run. We're playing a festival. It's in Minneapolis on June 20th. and we're doing a couple of shows before it, a couple of shows after it with that band Edict.
Okay.
We're
Edict is
playing.
sick.
Yep, they are. We're playing with them. Then in July, we're going to Europe,
Sick.
and we're
Nice.
playing Eperfest with like everybody.
Yeah.
Like I'm super stoked. We're playing the same day as Fatal Realm, and I'm super pumped about that.
Nice.
Contention's playing the same day we're playing. Like, there's a lot of awesome Haywire's playing. Like, it's a lot of good bands. So we're doing that. That'll be July 2nd through the 12th. Also, check out a band that we're playing with, a band called Soul Prison. They're from Germany. They booked the whole tour after Eperfest with us. Definitely check them out because they're really awesome. They're a really good band. But then after that, we're playing a festival in Jacksonville, but that's not until I think it's October. It's like Marauders Festival.
Okay.
Like it's like they're playing both days. They're having all these bands play, and
Sick.
we got asked to play that, which is fucking bonkers to me.
Yeah.
Like, excuse me, you know what? Marauder asked me, yeah. So it's like it's kind of wild, but there'll be we'll be doing shows. Like, everybody has like real jobs and stuff, so we can't just get in the van and be gone for 2 weeks at a time, unless it made financial sense to do that. So we do a lot of long weekends: Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Mondays. We try and do that once every 2 months just to keep it going.
Cool.
So yeah, we'll be doing that all the way through the summer, and then into the fall, and then winter time is when we'll probably start thinking about getting the songs, finalizing the songs, and start recording again. I'd like to put something out like relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Give this time to marinate, obviously, but like I would say, after a year of it being out, like I want to be able to be like, new record coming out in 3 months or something.
Sick.
So like I said, no one knows how much time you have left, so you gotta keep it going until you can't. So that's kind of what the mindset is of the band, and we've all sort of agreed to kind of take this leap together and leap as far as we can leap in our lives as they are today.
Yeah.
So that's just what we're gonna do. It's been a long time since I've been in Utah. The last time I was in
Come
Utah,
on, brother.
The last time I was in Utah was with Walls of Jericho, and as a roadie, and Salt Lake's a weird town. That was a weird place to walk around. I was like, I feel like I'm being watched right now. I don't feel like
That was 2000. It's about the same today. So
I was like, this doesn't feel right. I feel like I've seen that guy over there 6 times already. But but like we obviously want to get out west. Like we want to do that. I don't know if it'll be necessarily anytime soon, but like when we go out to California to record, we want to record and then play shows on the way back home from there.
Cool.
So we kind of want to do that in the winter of next year. That would be early winter. I'm not trying to drive through.
I'm
not trying to drive through all that bullshit. I remember one time with Terror, we were driving from Minneapolis all the way to Portland. Right.
Okay.
And we're going through South Dakota, and we hit black ice, and I thought it was over. I was like, I'm never touring in the winter again. This is a nightmare. But but like I said, we're just gonna ride the wave, and as long as people are still interested, we'll keep doing it, and we'll probably keep doing it even if they're not interested anymore, because I'm still interested in doing it, and the band's still interested in doing it. So we'll be doing it for us, if no one else. So
cool.
Well, we're interested.
Yeah.
So you've at least got 2 people. We'll make sure to boost those numbers a bit more than 13. We've got you there. But
thank you,
Rich, this was awesome. Really do appreciate your time. Ton of fun having you on here. You're always welcome back. But anyone else you just want to like shout out as we kind of wrap this thing up?
No, fuck everybody. No, I think like I mean I don't know. There's a lot of bands like a lot of bands from Ohio that I think people should pay attention to and look into. There's Pain Begins from Cincinnati. There's um, Resin Ring from Dayton. There's Blandfilth from Dayton. There's just a lot of bands. Inferius, which is awesome. They're from Dayton as well. There's just a lot of bands that are doing really good stuff, and they just need the opportunity to have an opportunity.
Yeah.
So I think I there's a really just a ton of bands, and I'm going to leave people out, so it's inevitable.
Yeah.
But
No, you're good.
as far as like what bands I think are fucking sick, everyone should go listen to Division of Mind and punch yourself in the face the whole time because it's such a fucking great record. It's such a good record. Like you said, Forever War, that's bonkers record. It's just like that's on repeat at the gym nonstop. And then I get into other stuff too, like Body Snatcher. I can listen to that record all day long.
Yeah.
Their riffs are brutal as fuck, and like they're just and again, you were speaking to like maturity. I hear maturity in these bands.
Yeah.
So it's like it helps, like it's just there's nothing wrong with hardcore in 2026. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
100%. Could not agree more. So, hey man, really appreciate it. Everyone needs to go listen to Suffer Together. We're putting it up there for album of the year, and we're only in May. All right, man. So come back in, listen back in December. You don't have to listen to any other episodes, but it's a good chance that it's going to be up there for album of the year.
All right. Okay.
Fantastic.
All right.
So awesome, man. Well, hey, have a good night, and we'll catch you soon.
Yeah, I'm going to bed. Thanks for keeping me up all night.
You got it, man. See ya.
See you, dude.